Hi, Nicholls here with another information security video. In today's episode, I want to talk about customer focused security and why it's important. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a drink, and let's get started. So, what is customer focused security? In my opinion, this is security that puts the customer first. So, we need to put in place security processes and security controls that ensure that whether we're dealing with internal customers or our external customers, they are always treated in a way that ensures their security, but at foremost, their expectations are managed and their experience is good. So I want to tell you about an incident that happened to me last week and why I wanted to focus this episode around the customer element of ensuring good security practices. I was dealing with a high street financial institution. Basically, I'd found an old statement for an account that I'd forgotten about and noticed that it was still in the address of a property that I owned some years ago. Property that I don't have access to, there's no forwarding in place, so obviously I wanted to get the address updated. The only thing I had was this statement. I didn't have any bank cards or anything like that. Literally a statement and obviously the customer telephone number. Now, because we're in the middle of the pandemic, I felt it best to maybe try an online service first to see if I could get the address updated. So I went to Twitter and spoke to the official Twitter representative and explained my predicament, and they said best thing to do was to go to the web chat. So I located the website of the financial institution and logged into their web chat. It's a secure web chat, and they do say that they can deal with secure queries. And so my chat started with an agent. I first of all had to pass some security questions, standard security questions that you would expect on a bank, and said that I needed to update my address, only to be told, no, you can't. And I asked, is this a policy decision or is this a technical issue, i.e. the agent didn't have permissions, and the agent informed me it was a policy decision and previously they were able, and he directed me to phone customer services. So I phoned customer services, got through to an agent, explained the issue, and they said, okay, please give me the answer to some security questions. Once again, some very basic security questions, which I answered, and the agent said, I can only update your phone number, I cannot update your address. I'll need to pass you through to another agent. So she connected me to another agent. She'd already said to the agent I'd passed security, so the agent said, okay, to update your address, I need you to just pass one more security question. So by this point, I was now on to security question number 4. The question I was asked is, please give me the last 6 digits of your card number. The problem is, they may have sent me a card, but as I explained, I have no access to that previous property and I couldn't get the card. And she said, well, I can't update your address for you. And I said, okay, is there another security question you can ask me? Nope, that's the only one. And I said, well, what do we do? And she goes, well, I can transfer you to another agent in the hope you get a different security question. And at this point, I started thinking, how is this actually improving my security? If I've already answered a number of security questions, but I can't answer this one, so you're going to transfer me to another agent to see if the computer will randomly pick another security question that I can answer. I wasn't particularly happy, but I had no option, so got transferred to another agent. Once again, the same question came up. Please give us the last 6 digits of your card number. I explained I couldn't do this, but this time, this agent said, okay, we will put you through to another team that deals with lost cards. So I got put through to another team, and I'd already answered the security questions, which the third agent has explained. So the next team didn't ask me the security questions, and they were able to update my address because they needed to update my address before they could send me the new card. So if they were able to update my address, but on the basis of another agent saying I'd answered some security questions, I'm getting really confused as to whether the security is actually where it needs to be. The customer experience is certainly not where it needs to be, because I've now spoken to, well, this was the fourth customer agent that I spoke to, if you include the web chat agent, and I've been on the phone now for more than an hour, and yes, okay, I finally got my address updated, but for something this simple, why has it taken so long? So I can understand why changing your address on a financial institution such as a bank or building society needs to be secure, and they need to verify that the individual requesting this change is the account holder. The main reason is things like bank cards and PIN numbers are still sent to people's home addresses as per the account. So once a criminal, say, has changed that address to their address, they'll be able to get those items and thus drain your accounts of your funds. But when we're talking about customer focused security, we need to ensure that the process is as easy as possible and gives the customer the best experience whilst maintaining security. So if we look at my journey that I took, which led me to make this video, I started with a web chat, and as you remember, I was not able to change my address via the web chat due to a policy decision. The agent, as far as I'm aware, on the end of the web chat was a agent that had the right permissions, had the right access. They could do the task, but policy prohibited them from doing it, which of course then meant they had to refer me to another agent. And there I am already getting frustrated, because I know that I'm going to be sitting on the phone for a long time trying to get this sorted. So why can the agent not change the address? If we look at the two communications mediums, we've got web chat and we've got phone call. What is the actual real difference between those two communications mediums? In reality, one I'm typing, one I'm speaking on. So yes, I do realise that some banks and some building societies carry out voice verification, but for this task, and bearing in mind I hadn't spoken to my bank in probably 10 plus years, it is unlikely they're doing voice verification. Now, the web chat, they asked me 3 security questions, and the agent on the end of the telephone asked me the same 3 security questions, and I passed both times. So if that's the only security check required to change the address, I, as a lay person here, and just a customer, so forget my security hat, just as a customer here, I do not understand why they could not update my address. So looking back at how we could improve this, I think the first thing would have been to change the policy to allow the web agent to update the address. If the bank is still not comfortable with that type of change being carried out and they want some more verification, I would probably say look at doing it via some form of online web form that does a credit check. Your address details should be correct on credit reference agency, certainly if you've got things in place like mortgages or secured loans on a property address. Now, that is a real-time process that takes a couple of minutes to do, but certainly something that maybe the bank should consider. It would make things a lot easier when updated. Now, I know some of you maybe don't want your bank accounts to go to the address that maybe you're mortgaged on, maybe you've got multiple properties, but this is certainly one thing they can consider. I think if we can get this right for the majority of people and ensure that security is customer focused and gives the best experience, then we're a long way to getting better at our processes and our controls and making sure the customer is always put first. So what are my top tips for customer focused security? Number 1, get your customers involved when you're designing your security process, whether they're internal or external customers. Hold focus groups, get surveys, anything, just get them involved in the process. It works twofold. A, it makes sure that your process is fit for purpose, or your control is fit for purpose, and 2, it also breaks down barriers between security teams and end users. I think number 2, we need to look at how we deploy and how we test processes and the controls, Remember, this is a continuous process. You're always looking to improve. And number 3, remember, people do have choice. If you get it wrong, people can choose to go elsewhere for their services. The other thing we need to just look at is how we communicate with customers in a secure way as well. Far too often we're putting our customers into a position that goes against what we've been saying all along. So if we are not expecting the communication, whether that's a phone call or an email, we should treat it with some caution and maybe some suspicion. One thing that I really don't like is when my bank or other organisation that holds sensitive data on me rings me up typically from a withhold number. I'm so and so from X bank. Before I can continue this conversation, due to data protection, I need to ask you some security questions. Right, but in all your advertising and all your security education literature, you're telling me don't give out security information to people on the phone if you don't know who they are. But this is what you practice. So we need to look at better ways of communicating. One thing that I've managed to agree with my bank is if they ring me up, is they will give me some information first to ensure I know that they are who they say they are. So effectively we're doing a key exchange, for want of a better word, so that we become trusted. There's an element of trust between each of us, so the agent on the end of the phone and me as the customer. Because yes, I do appreciate they've got to be certain that they're talking to the correct individual, and how do they know that I haven't had my phone stolen and they're talking to a criminal? So I do get that. So we've got this arrangement now. They will give me this secret information, and once I'm assured that they are who they say they are, then I will answer their security questions so they can ensure that I am who I am saying that I am as well. And then the trusted call can take place and we can do the business that is required. So these are all things to consider when you're putting processes in place and ensuring that A, you've got good security in place, but B, you're not ruining your customer experience, and thus they are in a happy place when they deal with you. Now I do want to say a big thank you to Ian Redmond and Suzanne Fraves of Explore Training and Development Limited. I first came across them in my work at Peabody during an engagement session they held with myself and the rest of the senior management team, and they really focused us around what it means to put the customer first and how we can adapt our processes and controls. So I'll put a link to their organisation down in the description, but I do urge you to reach out to them and have a look at how they can assist you and your organisation in making sure the customer is always put first when you're doing things, certainly like security. I learned a lot from them, and it's certainly adapted the way that I look at how security is put in place. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.